Pass to White. He's in. Patriots win the Super Bowl.
Welcome to Patriots Touchback Podcast.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to, I would say welcome back to the Patriots Touchback Podcast, but no, we're not going to do that. Welcome back to the bonfire, ladies and gentlemen, because guess what? We lost. Week 1, 2013, lost to the Las Vegas Raiders. A game which was winnable and unable to take our chances. Poor display from the offense, poor coaching, poor decision-making, and it seems like we've gone back another couple of years. I don't know how much more we could do. But I got Nick, I got DJ, and I got Kieran on standby with us for tonight. Make sure you smash the like button, hit the sub button, tell all your friends, and follow us on our social media platforms. Make sure you follow the podcast on Apple and on Spotify as well. Without further ado, let's get into this, okay? Gentlemen, good evening. How are we? First of all, have you had a good weekend?
Yeah, decent.
Yeah.
Football back.
I did until about 9:30.
Yeah.
Now, it's good to see you back, Kieran. How was your trip? How was your trip to Japan, by the way?
Yeah, it was fascinating. Thank you, mate. For no one, for those listening, anyone that's never been to Japan, it's probably the most. It's a strange combination of like tradition, ultra modern, and then just batshit crazy. Like, it is one of the most unique places I've ever been to. Would totally recommend it. I had an amazing time, lots of cool experiences. But it is a bloody long way. Like that 14-hour flight was pretty damn long. So, but no, amazing. It's good to be back though. Good to have football back. And yeah, just a shame we lost the first game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a shame lost game. I saw in your posts on Facebook you was at a sorry, this is the real nerd coming out of me here. But you was at a wrestling event. Was it Noah Promotion Wrestling?
Yeah, I went to Pro Wrestling Noah, which is probably the second biggest company in Japan behind New Japan Pro Wrestling. It was a very interesting show. It started off with like a Japanese girl band, like opening like the event, like singing a few songs in the ring, which was very odd. And then the whole event, actually, I've got this thing, I'll show you this. It's actually right here. The whole event was surrounded around one of the guys at Noah that's been wrestling for 30 years. And it was the 30th anniversary of his first ever match. And his name is Muhammad Yone. And everyone was handed one of these fans before they went in, complimentary, because it was warm in there to start with. And this is the fan. And that is Muhammad Yone.
Okay.
Interesting character with the afro. He's about 50 odd with a big afro, but it once again, it was a batshit crazy show, but I enjoyed it. Very slapstick, I would say, Carl. A lot of comedic wrestling. But it was good.
No, it's good to know. Good to hear, mate. Nah, as always. Listen, without bubbling on about wrestling and that, let's get into it. Patriots 13, Las Vegas Raiders 20. We looked into this first game thinking, right, what are we gonna get? Are we going to get a more disciplined team? Are we gonna get Drake Maye being a gun blazer, or are we gonna get being a check down magnet to the flat for running backs? Is this defense gonna hold up? Is our secondary gonna hold up? And we got a lot of answers to the questions, and most of them are not in a very, very good light. We're going to first start off with Drake Maye. He had shall we say, a mixed game is the right word to describe it. He made some good throws, but then he also made some rather questionable ones, to say the least. Nick, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on Drake's performance? What did you see out of it which you liked? What did you see out of it that you was like, oh God, here we go again. Same here, same from last year.
I mean, for me, it wasn't just Drake. It was the whole team. It was a game of two halves. In the first half, we played really well as a team. Drake Maye played well. The offense in general seemed to have a footing in the game. The defense were doing their best, and apart from the touchdown that Hawkins got caught underneath, we were doing okay. So, but then the second half of the game, just the bottom fell out, and everything went to pot. Drake Maye made some mistakes in the second half, but I think he's still trying to get his head round Josh's offense, and I think he's making mistakes, which he will do, but I think as a team we need to be better. I'm not going to pin it all on one player or anything, because I don't think that's fair. As a team, we were not good enough at all, and we need to be better. Simple as.
Well, Drake Maye had 30 complete. He had 46 pass attempts, 30 completed, 65% possession, 287 yards, 1 touchdown. Obviously, got the back-breaking interception as well. Here's what I will say this though, because there's something that's just popped up on my feed. Where is it? Where is it? Here we are. Drake Maye's pass. I've just looked at Drake Maye's passing chart. Okay, so he had a number of passes. Obviously, he had completed 28 of 46, or rather something along those lines. Okay, but I'm going to show you his actual passing accuracy of where it all went to. Okay, so let me just share screen it here. Hopefully it works. Here we go. Notice something? All the throws were in under 20 yards. No downfield threat whatsoever. Is Josh McDaniels putting a lot on Drake's plate, knowing that he's trying to go past through the first read and not?
That doesn't really bother me as much, because I don't want him to turn over the ball. I prefer him to be safe and getting. I mean, typical Brady. He would never. It was very rare that he would go down the field either in the Josh McDaniels scheme. He would do what Drake's kind of done this time round, where it was play it safe, 5 yards, or like you say, an average of 20. That's it. He's not going to extend the play any further, because I don't know. I just felt that he wasn't comfortable enough in that pocket yet. He seemed to not. I don't know. I don't think he seemed to. Yeah, he just seemed to struggle in terms of his protection, and he kind of got confused where he didn't know what to do, to run with the ball or play it safe, run it or get rid. Maybe it's just first time nerves. They're all relatively new. This whole team, this whole system. I think sometimes as fans, I think we're pretty harsh on what to expect. After the last 20 years, we've been a successful team, and now obviously this new revamped side. I don't know if that's. Yeah, I really do think it's like a preseason game. I know it's week 1, but we're still rusty.
I think this passing chart is indicative of the fact that our only downfield threat played 10% of the snaps. So Kyle Williams is the only receiver we have that can legitimately stretch the field. Now, we saw Booty last season have a few deep shots, but he's more of a possession intermediate guy, and he thrived in this game in particular, doing what he does best, like another 100-yard game, which is fantastic. But the only player we have that can take the top off and pull off a big play is Kyle Williams, and he barely saw the field in this game. I think he had 1 reception. But Matt Collins was playing an awful lot. And Matt Collins is not a deep threat. He's a big receiver. He's the kind of guy that we should be bringing in on 3rd down. He's the kind of guy we should be bringing in the red zone. But he's not going to stretch the field for you. I just think this is like I said, it's just indicative of Kyle Williams needed to be used more. If you're going to push the ball down the field, you need Kyle Williams on the field. And if you're not intending to do that, then you don't need him to do that. But I'm with DJ. It doesn't worry me too much in terms of pushing the ball down the field. I'd rather just, as long as we're building drives, that's the most important thing. I just feel like there was just so many miscues, and we were just out of sync. And in the second half, in particular, like May overthrew a couple of guys. Like I don't know whether this is going to become a bit of an issue, whether it's on May or just something we have to get used to. But this May overshooting Pop Douglas thing is becoming more and more common, and I think it's a combination of May is putting the ball too high, but Pop Douglas is 5'8". Like, if you had a slot receiver that's stomach, they catch the ball, like plain and simple. And I think that's just something we're going to have to live with. Otherwise, May is going to have to start throwing the ball really low to make sure that he gets it to Pop Douglas, and then he might end up throwing it into the ground. So, like, it's finding that balance of trying to get him open, like, because we know he can make plays with the ball in his hands, but I think his height over the middle of the field is becoming a bit of a problem.
Yeah, I think also what doesn't help is the fact we have no running game again. You know, we've tried, we've attempted. I mean, there was 60 yards out of 4 of the guys that carried the ball. That's just not enough in a game. And you're not helping your quarterback either. You're having to depend on the quarterback to make plays in the air, passing to his receivers that still not on par. I mean, Stevenson, 7 carries, 15. Henderson, 5, 27. That's it.
And yet, barely ran the ball in the second half.
Second half,
with this D line of Raiders, you would expect to put up a lot more.
You'd have thought we would be down by like 3 or 4 scores. If we were down by 3 or 4 scores, like, right, okay, we've got to try and pass the ball here because we're not going to get the points back here through the running game here. But we were down by 1 to 2 scores pretty much most of the second half anyway. So it wasn't like we weren't clearly out of it. It just felt like the running game just got diminished.
Yeah, and bearing in mind, we took a 3-point lead into the half anyway, and we got the ball back to start the second half. So why are we not trying to establish the run? And I know that Mondre didn't look good. Like, I having watched Stevenson in the game, I don't think he looked great. He looked slow. And I know that the offensive line's like run blocking wasn't as good as it has been in camp in particular. But like, Henderson had 27 yards on 5 carries. That's over 5 yards a carry. Like, just get the ball in his hands. If Mondre isn't moving the needle, just give it to Henderson. Let him cause the problems. I don't know why they felt the need to abandon the run game and run the ball 3 times in the second half when we were winning at halftime. That makes absolutely no sense. And you just turned it into a drop-back passing game, and that's where it fell apart.
I didn't think Henderson had a particularly good game either. I know he had a couple more yards than Ramonde, but I still don't think he did enough. I would have maybe try and change the gameplay up and maybe attempted Gibson a bit, run powerhouse against them. Maybe that could have maybe changed the thing. I just think at the end of the day, in that second half, we got outcoached, flat and square. There was no other way or means of describing it. I think Pete Carroll, Chip Kelly, they did what they needed to do in that second half to get the job done. And we obviously didn't. They made the adjustments, and we couldn't match it. Gino was slicing us up in that D, and that was.
I think it's a good point you make, DJ, about the coaching aspect, because we were very, very aggressive defensively. Like, we were sending blitz, like 5-6 man rushes, like on the play that the end of the game where Geno Smith took the deep shot to Dante Thornton. We sent a 6-man rush on 3rd and 20. What the hell is that all about? Just drop everyone into coverage and send a 3-man rush. Like, I feel like we were trying to get over aggressive to try and force turnovers. And I think that's Mike Vrabel mentioned that on I think it was the day after the game when he was on the radio. He said they were trying to force turnovers too much. But like, Terrell Williams has to be a little bit more like reserved with that, because we went so all out on 0 blitzes and 5-6 man rushes that we exposed ourselves on the back end. And Gino is an experienced quarterback. He's not an elite quarterback. We made him look better than what he is, But an experienced quarterback who's been there and done it is going to see this blitz coming every time and go, right, well, I'm going over the top then. And that's what they did. They shredded this.
Yeah, that was the thing. When the blitz didn't work, we didn't have an answer to what. We didn't have anything else in the locker. You know, as soon as Vegas had the blitz sort of managed and read and could beat it, we struggled. You know, the defense up front, you know, couldn't do. They didn't have a plan B.
That's when we decided to start going man, and that's when Brock Bowers just destroyed us because there was no one that could compete against that guy. There was no one covering half of the time, and that guy is.
But I don't think it helps. You give up 9 plays over 20 yards.
It's crazy.
You know, it's because if you didn't give that many plays up, they wouldn't have scored that many points, and you probably wouldn't have needed the more points to win the game. You know, it would have been a 13-10 might have won you the game. But, you know, we gave up far too many yards from plays, you know, that we just didn't defend very well.
And that's the concern, Nick, is that 9 plays of over 20 yards in that game against that offense. Now, with all due respect to the Raiders, they do have some very nice offensive pieces. You know, Brock Bowers is an elite player at his position. Ashton Genty looks like he's going to be an elite running back. They've got a good O-line and a couple of really decent receivers. But this is far from an elite offense. We were saying this in the green room. So if you're giving up 9 plays of over 20 yards against the Raiders, what happens when we play Buffalo? What happens when we play Baltimore? What happens when we play Cincinnati and Tampa Bay, who have real firepower on offense? Like, are we just going to get carved up like a turkey on Christmas? Like, what the hell's going on? And I know we were missing Gonzo, and we didn't have, obviously, Jabril Peppers got cut, which was very bizarre. Like, but still, like, I don't get the mentality for why we were that aggressive defensively at home against the Raiders. Like, it just made no sense. That was a coaching mistake from Terrell Williams, definitely.
The 3rd and 20 at the end, that was a huge mismanage on the coaching staff.
Yeah.
To try and blitz and go 3rd and 20, just drop back in covers. You know they've got 20 yards to go.
They were on their own 12-yard line.
They're on their own 12-yard line.
Just play,
It's just... And that would have got the ball back as well. We would have got the ball back. We would have had one last chance to actually get down the ball. But then talking of coaching deficiencies, Vrabel made a... so this was a 4th down play. It was originally going to be 4th and 5. We were going to go for it. Will Campbell obviously mitigated a false start. He had 2 false starts penalty, 2 false starts in that game. But apart from that and the sack, which wasn't technically really his fault, it was more of an inside move on Wilson. I thought he did pretty well, but that's besides the point. It then became 4th and 10. Put yourself in his shoes. Would you have gone for it still 4th and 10, or would you have punt the ball? You say we're going to rely on our defense to actually.
I would have gone aggressive and gone for it. Flat out. I wouldn't have punted it from there. Again, he was relying on the defense to try and hold them.
I think given our offensive problems, I think I would have probably punted.
Kevin?
I don't know. When was it in the game again? I can't really remember at what point in the game it was.
Let me have a look.
4th quarter. We needed a touchdown and a field goal, I think.
Yeah, so I'd probably go for it. If you're down by 2 scores in the 4th quarter at home,
we did the penalty.
I think I'm going for it. But it's frustrating with the false start penalty. Like Carl said, you take those 2 false starts out and 1 blip. Will Campbell played well for 3 quarters, I thought. And then it kind of unraveled a little bit towards the end of the 4th. But
that was funny about Campbell because he seemed to manage all right with Crosby, but then as soon as Coombe came from the inside and then Crosby went on the Moses side, he seemed to have struggled a bit more than we was doing with Crosby, which Yeah, it's a strange one.
There are different types
I
of
think
players.
it's like you say, 3/4 of bang, 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 bang. Rookie coming into the NFL, he's gonna. It's just a learning curve. It's just.
I think some of our more experienced players let us down Sunday as well. I mean, Carlton Davis, he got beat on that play. That I'm sorry, you are an experienced player. We have paid you to be one of the experienced players in the team. Why are you getting beat like that? You know, you should be in front of him, stopping that play and intercepting it, not letting it go over your head.
Yeah.
I think it's been a similar problem to last year in that we weren't good enough, but you weren't getting enough from the veteran players last year. And, you know, Sunday was another one. I thought, you know, Moses at right tackle, yes, he played okay, you know, but there were a few times where he gave up some pressures, you know, and I just think when you look at the inexperience we've got, especially in our backfield on the defensive side of the ball, you really need the experienced players to step up. You know, Stephon Diggs, all right, he didn't do loads, but he kept going and what have you, and he made some moves and he caught some passes and he did what he needed to do. You know, but I think, you know, we need to see more. We need to see more from everybody, but the veteran players certainly needed to do more on Sunday.
Yeah, definitely did. I honestly, I probably would have still punted. If you try and go for it, you're basically going for broke then. You're 4th and 10. Yeah, just inside of your own half. And if you mess it up, that's what they get prime territory, 1 down, and they kick a field goal, and that's it. The game's away from the Pats then. So, but the defense didn't really do much. I mean, we freaking made bloody Geno Smith look like Tom Brady. It's absolutely 362 passing yards. This guy's not Mahomes. He's not Herbert. He's not Josh Allen. He isn't Lamar Jackson. But what Geno was is a veteran quarterback who has seen a lot in his time as a quarterback. He has seen a lot, so he knew how to pick apart a defense. He knew where the blitz was coming. He knew where it was coming from.
He completely read us. Yeah,
he completely read us. You don't need to be the best quarterback in the world to do that. You just need to be smart, and obviously, experience does help because you would have seen a lot in your entire career. But yeah, it was. I mean, there was some bright spots in this, and that was not the secondary, but our D line. Our D line did do a job. They stopped Ashton Gentry for pretty much most of that game. Okay, they gave up a touchdown, but a 3-yard touchdown. You can't exactly do much about that. I thought the D line was very good. I thought K'Von Chasen. Was very, very good in that game, and so too was Harold Landry. Now, someone on this panel was very, very critical when we signed Landry, and he got 2.5 sacks in his first game. So I'm not exactly going to complain about that.
Landry was very good, and I think that says a lot now about what the preferred lineup is across that defensive line in the pass rush. That Keon White is a rotational player, because it was Williams and Barmore in the middle with Landry and Chason on the edge pretty much the majority of the game. And to be fair to the pair of them, they lived in the backfield a lot in that game. They got a lot of pressure. Not only did Landry have 2.5 sacks, but he had 7 pressures and 5 run stops. Like, that's a big game. So, yeah, we've got that was a real positive. Maybe that was indicative of the fact that Terrell Williams wanted to basically blitz on every single play, and that's why we generated a lot of pressure. But that was a real positive sign for Chason and Landry to get all of that pressure. And Williams got into the backfield.
Williams got to the
Did you
QB, I think, twice.
Did you not think Spillane was like the second man to everything? Because every time the camera, when the play stopped, and the Vegas player would give the referee the ball or whatever, you're like, Spillane is like in the background of every shot. He's like the second man to everything. He's like, oh, I was going to get there, but you just beat me. Oh, I was going to get, he seemed to be everywhere, but never first.
I think it's that scene in Seinfeld, is it? Oh, stop short.
I think
he seemed to be everywhere. It was like, you couldn't miss him. He seemed to be everywhere. He just was never like front and center.
Yeah.
So
I think Vrabel came out with a comment saying this is now going to determine what we can do when we can try and go into this game, and we'll see what we're made of now. Yeah. Because
that leads me into a comment, because I was going to say beware the wounded dog, because there are 2 wounded dogs this weekend. Which dog
Miami
got the fight? Which dog has got more fight left in him? Because it's not great going down to Miami, but I mean, they took an ass whooping. They're not going to be in a great mood either.
They made Daniel Jones look like fucking Peyton Manning, but more mobile.
Yeah, anyway. It's almost like the Revolutionary War musket that's run out of ammo versus a tin of tuna. Like, this is basically like
we've got to clip that. So getting clipped.
The Dolphins look pretty bad, didn't they? I was listening to a podcast earlier and they were like, can you name the Dolphins 2 starting corners? And then when they read the 2 of them out, one of them is our old friend Jack Jones, who basically tries to pick 6 everything and ends up getting beat. And the other one is Storm Duck. I mean, that just sounds like a fucking shit superhero, doesn't it? Like, yeah. So honestly, if we lose to the tin of tuna, we have no hope.
We're done.
But supposedly, I know it could just be social media natter, but I did see online a little while ago. Reportedly, Tyreek Hill has requested a trade from the Dolphins, which wouldn't surprise me because he's just a little.
He'll end up back at Chiefs.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I expect him to be a deadline week trade. I expect him to be a week 9.
Week 9.
Yeah, I expect him to be a trade on around week 9 on deadline day, as we would say over here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Patriots corners against the Raiders. Carlton Davis was 2 for 6, 64 yards, 2 pass breakups. Obviously, one turned into an interception. Marcus Jones 2 for 3, 54 yards and a pass breakup. Alex Austin 2 for 4, 46 yards and a pass breakup. And DJ James 1 of 1, 11 yards. Which, by the way, he just got cut.
Yeah.
That's to make way for Gonzalez to be back on the roster, and it's got to be.
Gonzalez is already on the roster. We didn't put him on.
I think he's already on. I think
he was on IR.
Was he not? I thought he was on. I thought he was on IR.
He never
with
went
an early
on
designation.
I think, like I said in the chat, we elevated Corey Ballantyne for the game the other day. Who's an experienced corner who's played for the Packers and the Giants, and who plays a lot on special teams. And I just wonder whether that they see him maybe being a little bit more of a contributor. But it is a real shock because DJ James was a real training camp standout, and I don't know why you would just give up on him after one game. I mean, if you can get him back on the practice squad, great. But he might get claimed because it's pretty good in camp. I just don't understand why we keep cutting all these talented players like Peppers first, now DJ James. We just casting people aside for no reason. Why?
So we've been a bit critical with the way, obviously, Drake has played recently. So I don't want to bring this up because this really infuriated me. Remember there was a game, I think it was at the Vikings game, Kieran, where Drake had Kyle Williams running down the sideline free and empty. He could have gone in for a touchdown.
Oh God, yeah, he had the whole state of Minnesota space. Like,
Yep.
yeah.
Well, defend this then. The exact same sort of play. Now I'm going to watch very careful here. Coming up now, that's going to be Matt Collins right there. He needs to make the safety bite down on him. So I'm going to watch the play. Hang on, I'm going to slow it. So I'm going to slow it down here. Ball snapped, released. Let me slow this down. There we go. That might work. There we go. So there's Hollins there. He's just got past his receiver. He's trying to get through. Look at now. Look at the top. There's Carl Williams. He's beating his man. He's already 2 yards ahead of him already. Running. There's the.
All he
he's
needs
trying
is
to
a
get the
donk.
throw. All he needs is a donk. But what
Lob.
Hollins needed to do, it was either Hollins or Henry, is one of the two. He needed to go that way and bite down on the safety, bite down on him. Because he's looking where Drake is. He ain't seeing. If Drake gets that ball out, he's through, surely.
But where's Drake at that point? Is he already done? Where's he at? I can't see him. Of when?
He's here. Yeah, he's at the back.
Yeah,
He's got time. He's got time.
Does he get sacked though? But by the time
He's already made his decision.
He's throwing it. Yeah, he's already thrown. Yeah, he's throwing it to Hollins. Or whoever that was. Yeah, when we had Carl Williams wide open.
When you said he's beaten his man by two yards, that's when Drake Maye makes his decision, but he hasn't. He makes the wrong one.
He'll watch that and say fuck.
He will.
That's him not reading.
Drake
will watch that and we're like, wow.
The problem is, DJ goes, this is not the first time we've seen him do this. He did this in Minnesota in pre-season, so it's not like he doesn't know how to do it. He's seen this happen once already. It's like,
but is that because he doesn't have enough time to go through his regions, and he's just like, I know I've got to go to this player no matter what.
I think it's tunnel vision for a player that he trusts personally.
It's tunnel vision, but I'll also go. The only thing I will defend him on is there. So there's Campbell there. He's got his man, no problem. Wilson has lost his man already. There, but Wilson's lost his man already. If Wilson keeps hold of him, but he's already decided he's going. I think he is going to Hollins or something. I think that is Hollins that's there. But the problem is, though, he's thrown it down to there. You got a safety there. Your corner. You got a corner.
No, I think he passes it to Hunter. I think he throws it to Hunter on the 45, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's Hunter Henry in the middle.
There.
Yeah, Hunter Henry in the middle. So
yeah.
So although fair enough, it ended up being a first down, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But there was another option if he decided to go there, and this is where there's a little comment here which I brought out here. Evan Lazard made a bit of a this is on Patriots.com, by the way. So I might need to. Okay, right. So I'm just going to read this out. I know it's going to be very, very tiny writing, so I do apologize. So this one I'll just read out for you. From this perspective, if there's one big picture concern from Sunday's game, it's that Maye seems better suited for an explosive playoff thread that doesn't ask him to be precise with his accuracy down to down. In other words, more deep shots and an out of structure playmaking, less death by 1,000 paper cuts. So basically what he's trying to say is, you're trying to turn Drake Maye into Tom Brady when we know he's more like a Matthew Stafford, more like a Justin Herbert. He's got a powerful arm on him, so why don't you use it? Because if you continue to throw shots down the field, and so let's just say Butte gets on the end of them and Kyle Williams gets on the end of them, the opposing teams are going to think, oh, shit, okay, now we've got to try and look out for these deep threats. If you look out for the deep threats, guess what? Then the shorts are open, the flats are open, the intermediates are then open. But we're just going check down all the time. And I think that sort of game only works if you've got a good blocking scheme. And we still really don't have.
No.
Yeah, not protected. However, the Patriots still search for the right mix of supporting cast members to fit May's skill set. OC Josh McDaniels leans more towards the low variance efficiency plays rather than the volatile but splashy big play offensive style. For example, May pointed to a first down play in the third quarter as a drive started that he missed following his interception. With the Raiders rotating into a tricky cover 3 zone, May saw an open Hunter Henry sitting on the left hash. Although his eyes were in the right place, May sailed the throw over Henry's head, leading to an incompletion. The next 3 plays then went past to Henderson in the flat of -1 yard, incomplete to Boutte on third down, and then the punt. Do we think that Drake is more sort of accustomed to throwing the ball further downfield? Because we saw deficiencies like this happen last year. When he threw the ball downfield, he actually threw the ball really, really well. And yet some of the shorter throws that he was doing they were a little bit questionable. So is it a case of Josh turning around to Drake and saying, right, we're going to take this away from you and this away from you. This is what you're going to do, simplify. But you've got that arm. You should be able to get this ball down the field.
Yeah, I reckon if he was to do the reads properly and he saw Williams break that defender like he did and got 2 yards away, I reckon he would have lobbed it over to him. But he doesn't. Again, I don't know if because he feels that he doesn't have enough time in the pocket to go through those reads to see where the player's at or to see if the players are getting out released on time. I don't know. I just think, like I say, it's just a secure where he knows where he needs to go to, and that's it. That's what he's been told to do.
Yeah.
When he was the Tar Heel, when he was at the University of North Carolina, he was throwing bombs all the way down the field. He could throw it and he was hitting targets. So it's not that he hasn't got the arm; he has. I think he's either low on confidence or he's doing what he's been instructed to do. And I think it's probably more the latter than the former. So
there was a criticism of him coming out of the draft, like saying that he can make all the deep throws and he will make some wow throws and some insane plays, but he misses the layups, the easy things that are just there for him to take, and he needs to learn to take the yards when they're presented rather than going for the hero ball every time. But that might play into what Nick is saying, that maybe he is trying to play more conservative because that's what he's been told to do, and that's what he struggled with in college. But like I think like he played well first half. It was just some miscues in the second half that he was just a bit off. He was just a bit off with some of his reads. He was a bit off of some of his accuracy. But I certainly
think
think
down to nerves as well.
Yeah, possibly. Like he's talked about in his press conferences that sometimes he gets a little bit worked up and overamped, and
he needs to snap out of that.
Down a little bit.
I'm sorry, that's not a good enough excuse. He needs to snap out of that and quick. This is not a rookie now. He is not a rookie. He's in his second year. You've got to get that snapped out of you. I do not want to see our quarterback playing happy feet in the pocket on that first drive.
This is what the season's going to make. We need to see if he's make a step forward. Because if he continues to be like he was last year and with no progression moving forward,
then we're in the Arch Manning stakes. But just about the context here, Drake Maye prior to his interception, 80-25, 72% completion, 182 yards, average 7.3 yards per attempt, and a touchdown. Drake Maye, after the interception, before the final garbage time 2-minute drive, 7-12, 58.3% completion, 51 yards, 4.3 yards per attempt. It's as if as soon as he threw that interception, that's it. He went into a shell.
He's a confidence player. When everything is going right, he feels amazing and he feels like he can take on the world. And then as soon as he makes a mistake, he thinks, "Oh crap, I can't do that again." Right, let's go and let's turn it down a few notches and let's play. So he's a confidence player, and that I cannot remember where he was. I can't remember where he was, but Tom Brady did an interview. I think it might have been for ESPN, but this was before he was part of Fox. And he did an interview and he said about rookie QBs, because I think, and he was saying about how rookie QBs these days don't sit anymore. You look at Cam Ward and what have you, and they're straight into the team. And he said how when he came into the Patriots, it's not about the fact that it was Belichick and what have you. It was the fact that he came in and he sat and he learned and he was able to gauge everything that was going on at the franchise, from what happens on the field to what happens off the field to what is expected of him as a rookie, what is expected of what was expected of Drew Bledsoe and what he was doing. And so Brady said a lot of the rookies now, they don't get that experience and they don't get that.
Just get thrown in the deep end.
Yeah, they don't get that learning and that level of forgiveness, because they're just thrown into the mixer and said, deal with it. And he said quite a lot of these players need time. I'm not saying it's the reason.
Mahomes and Jordan Love, those two, I think.
Were the two prime
I was going to say
Mahomes. Yeah, Mahomes sat, and even though everyone at the Chiefs knew that Mahomes was better than Alex Smith, Mahomes had been told, you are not going to play this year, you're going to sit. And everyone knew he was better, but no one said anything. And Alex Smith played that year. And I just think, you look at what happened to Mac, and I know it's not all Mac's fault, and I'm not here pinning that on him, but Drake Maye's been thrust in the limelight. Was he ready? Did he need more time?
You can have that same. You can have that same argument with Caleb Williams as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Cam Ward's going to happen the same as well.
Yeah, I saw that Cam Ward had one of the lowest completion percentages for a week one rookie in a long time.
Give him a break. He was going up against the Denver defense.
Yeah,
come on, Denver's defense is Denver's defense is in a freaking world of its own right now.
I thought Caleb played well this week, actually, to be fair. I mean, second half he dropped off, but first half he was awesome.
First drive he was all right. The rest of the time I don't think he was good.
Even look at McCarthy. I know he was injured, but he's still sat out for the year. And I bet you he's gained some kind of savvy of the way the playbook works and blah blah blah. And he came out. I thought he did really, really well for his first NFL game.
For the first 3 quarters, I thought he was below average. I didn't think he was great. But then in the fourth quarter, he came alive and he dragged the Vikings to a win, which is what you want from your quarterback. So
I think it's very easy to sit here and say this about Drake Maye, and hindsight's a wonderful thing. But we rewind 11 months ago, and we're all sat here pissed off watching Jacoby Brissett throw the ball for 4 yards, and the offense just be slow and putrid and uninspiring, and we're all calling for Drake Maye. And it wasn't just us as well. The whole fan base wanted Maye to be unleashed. We couldn't have gone through that season with Jacoby Brissett. We would have all lost the will to live. And we may not have done, we might not have even won 4 games. So, Maye gave us a spark down the stretch. Yes, we didn't win enough games, but we can all sit here now and say that, maybe it would do him well to sit. And that is a proven formula, but that wasn't an option for us last year. And we have to deal with what the reality was. And he played, and he's definitely shown some things. He was good in the first half. That was important to point out. But I don't know. He's still compared to all those other rookie QBs, with the exception of maybe Cam Ward, is in one of the worst situations, because the line has been repaired, but it's still far from a good offensive line. and the weapons around him are all sort of like still developing, or like Diggs is working his way back from an ACL. So like he still isn't in a fantastic environment, but like he's still a talented player. You can see it's there, and it's just making sure that Josh unlocks it now, and maybe they do give him a little bit more freedom to play the way he wants to play. But like I don't have any concerns about him really, to be honest.
One thing I also wanted to point out was we had a really good drive, and Drake played really well on that particular drive, and we went to go and kick that field goal, and that lad, I know it's his first NFL kick, but he missed it from 40 yards. It's like that does also
Borregales
put a beating on your Borregales.
To be honest, it's his first kick. He probably had the jitters, he had the nerves. There was nothing wrong with the snap, nothing wrong with the hold. I think maybe it was just nerves that got the better of him. But to be honest,
he made the next two at least.
He made the next two, and he kicked the P8, and he kicked the P80 as well. So do you know what? 2 out of 3 is good for a start.
It could be worse. It could be Jake Moody,
who just got wavered.
He got cut, didn't he?
Yeah, who got cut today because he was crap.
He was so good for it. He was so good for us in Michigan as well.
What happened to the Falcons one? What's his name? Koo. He missed the
Young Wei Koo. Yeah.
Yeah.
And 2 years ago, he couldn't miss. He was like, and the other guy, the Bengals guy, who McPherson. He went through a period where he couldn't miss either, and then he hit a wall and just couldn't hit. But I think I'm not too worried about the kicker. I'm really not. And to be honest, I'm not worried about Drake Maye either. As I look at the Patriots, I am worried about us on the defensive side of the ball in the backfield. I think we're too weak, and I'm worried about us on the offensive side of the ball up front, because I think we're not strong enough on that front line. Other than that, I think time will tell, and good things will come. We just got to be patient.
When you say about weak on the back, I still don't understand that Peppers cut, because
I mean, the
guy is probably one of the best ones out there right now, and
there's got to be something else that's not been put into the public.
Well, he just got signed today, but
he's gone to the Steelers, and he'll probably play for them. Peppers he was arguably our best safety. Like, 100%. Has been productive. He's a good leader on the team. He would have been a key figurehead for us. To go from him to Jalen Hawkins, who's on his third team and is, okay as a rotational player, and a 4th-round rookie, that's what worries me about the safeties. I think we're fine at corner. When Gonzalez is back, I've got more than enough confidence in the corners that we have, because I think Alex Austin is still pretty good as a third. But this Hawkins and Woodson, it's throwing them to the wolves early on, and obviously Duggar's now like a rotational safety. But like, getting rid of Peppers just makes no sense. I don't get that. So something must have happened behind the scenes that they weren't happy with, that they decided to cut him.
Yeah. Is it worth mentioning that the best player out of next year's draft is going to be a safety?
Caleb Downs,
yeah.
That's probably who we're going to say.
Safety is not going to get drafted. He's not going to get drafted number 1. So if you crap enough, you might get a decent. You might get the best safety, not only the best safety in the game, but the best player.
Who does he play for?
Ohio State.
Ohio State Buckeyes.
Just the point on the kickers that Nick made as well. Like, obviously Borregales missed one, but he did make 2. Like, I think we have to show some patience, because a couple of years ago we had Chad Ryland, who obviously we drafted in the 4th round, and he pretty much missed all the kicks we wanted him to miss, and then missed all the ones we wanted him to make, and then he made the one we wanted him to miss. And then he ended up getting cut in favor of Joey Sly. And we were thinking, well, that's an absolute waste of a 4th-round pick. This kid's not very good as a kicker. He's now gone to Arizona and been really good. So, like, sometimes a bit of patience and a bit of confidence pays off. So maybe, like, we can't bury Andy Borregales, like, if he has a rough run. Like,
no, I wasn't burying him. I was just saying,
nobody was. But the same to the wider fan base. Like, if he misses kicks, don't go, Well, I saw loads of messages the other day saying, or no, not messages, but social media posts saying, "Oh, we should have kept Parker Romo. He was better in camp." Blah blah blah. It's like
He got signed today as well.
Like
I think Romo got signed, but I can't remember by who.
If you want to be like that, we should have kept Nick Folk, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think Borregales will be fine. We're gonna have to show some patience. He's gonna have misses, but like it's proof that young kickers do develop with experience. So maybe it's worth us being a little bit more, understanding with that. Can we talk about the biggest positive from the offense this week? Because I feel like we've mentioned it many times before that this is the official podcast of the Keishon Booty fan club.
Excuse me, I am the leader of the Keishon Booty fan club out here. What did I say? I said this kid. I said this kid was a steal when we got him a couple of years ago. Give him a bit of time, and we'll see what he can bring.
He's damn good.
He is damn good. 103 yards receiving. Now everyone's going to pick him up in fantasy. You watch.
Yeah.
If he's not Efton Chisholm III, I'm not interested.
That was a weird one as well that he was left out. But
I think he'll be active this week.
He's got to be. God,
EC3, baby. EC3.
EC3. That's a wrestler's name, actually. Anyway, it is. I think it was Ethan Carter III. I think it was. He was called EC3 nickname. Anyway, I digress.
Keishon Booty now has back-to-back 100-yard games if you count week 18 last year. And even, I think it was week 16 last year, he had 95 yards and a touchdown. So, 3 of his last 4, I put it in the chat earlier, 3 of his last 4 games have been pretty big. And obviously he had a big summer, and some reporters were saying he was going to get traded or cut, which turned out to be bollocks. And now he's looking like he is our best receiver. I mean, whether that continues over the course of the season, I don't know. Because I'd imagine once Diggs gets up to speed, he'll probably ascend to that role. But Booty's been pretty damn good, and Drake Maye seems to trust him as well. He gets a lot of targets. He catches everything his way. He's currently 7th in the NFL in receiving yards. I wouldn't have said that after a while, but Carl is right as well. I've seen many fantasy analysts saying go and pick up Keishon Booty because of the volume he's getting and the production. Like, genuinely, I'm made up for him. And he's still a young player. He's still 23 years old. Like, he's still an ascending player. He said in one of his interviews this week, people forget I was once considered a first-round pick. And I think that there was a huge question when he came out of college, obviously with the gambling stuff as well, about his level of maturity and his level of focus and I think his work ethic and things like that. One thing that stands out to me is that after the loss against the Raiders this weekend, he done press back-to-back days. He done it after the game, and then he did it on the Monday as well. Now, I've worked in a sports environment. Trust me, players do not want to speak to the media after a defeat. This is the thing they hate the most. So for him to show that level of maturity, to be like, to go and face the media and speak articulately like he did, I think he's grown a lot off the field and as a person as well as a player. Genuinely excited about what he could be. And okay, he's got 103 yards in his first game. He only needs 56 yards a game on average now to have 1,000-yard season. I guess the question is, can he have 1,000-yard season?
In this team, I think he can. But I was listening to Tom Cullen's pod, and they were talking about Butte, and he said, as much as Butte has done really well for us, he is a 1B receiver for us.
Yeah,
you got Butte.
Yeah,
but you put him in a decent team. You stick him he's a wide receiver too. You stick him on an elite team, i.e., like the Chiefs, like the Eagles, let's say the Packers, for example. He's a wide receiver 3.
But this is going to make defenders think twice now of where we're going to go to. So if Butte is doing, like you say, 100 yards a game, that then frees up, Diggs.
It frees up Diggs. It frees up Henry. And if
Kyle on the other side,
if Vrabel elevates Chisholm, then Chisholm in the doing the slants.
Yeah, it's just opens up the play.
It opens up the playbook a bit, and it opens up the running game as well. There's a lot wrong with this team, okay? There is a lot wrong, okay? But there is a lot of things that can be cleared up and may look better and pleasing on the eye. The thing is, though, this is an NFL. This is American football, okay? You've only got 18 weeks, or rather 17 games. 17 games to assert your dominance to say, are we a playoff team or not? Or are we going to be a contender for the Super Bowl or not? It's not like we're a baseball team or an NHL team. You've got like only 82 games or 162 games. You can gradually build up through as the season goes along. You've got a short window every single season.
Yeah.
You've got to strike while the iron's hot, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I've got no
that comment.
Go on, Nick.
Go on, carry on. No, carry on.
I've got no issues with Booty being a 1B. Like, if he's going to be our wide receiver 2, no problems. If he's going to be a consistent, reliable player, but then we need to find the alpha. We need to find the wide receiver 1.
That'll be Diggs. It has to be Diggs.
If it's Diggs, or is it Kyle Williams, or is it someone that we have to look at maybe next year in the draft or whatever, like long term. But like, if Booty continues to be a good, dependable number 2 that puts up between, 750 to 1,000 yards a season and will score 5-6 touchdowns, then he's going to, because he's in his 3rd year now, he's eligible for an extension after this season. So he's going to, obviously he's not going to be earning a lot as a 6th round pick. He's also got a lot to think about in terms of incentives with his contract, because he'll be earning probably next to no money as a 6th round pick. And he'll want a bigger contract. So, if he continues that, he's going to get an extension for us. He'll sign into a longer term deal. And then you have Booty as your wide receiver 2. You get your wide receiver 1. And then you've got Douglas, you've got Chisholm as your slot options, and Kyle Williams. Suddenly, further down the line in 2-3 years' time, thinking 3 years' time, Booty's going to still only be 26. So, you've got a good young ascending core there that might not be there yet, but could get there. And obviously, he's the one that's taking the biggest leap so far. I'm excited for him. We've spoke about him a lot on this podcast, and he's been pretty good.
Yeah, he has been pretty good.
It helps. It helps that he's under. It helps that he's under a better OC than he had last year. Because Alex Van Pelt wasn't great. Bill O'Brien before that wasn't great. I think it was when Josh. Let's be fair. When Josh was here last time, he made Mac Jones look good, and then no sooner did Josh leave, Mac Jones fell off a cliff. And because we gave him a defensive coordinator as his offensive coordinator and said, deal with that. But that's by the by. I think a lot of the players look like they have more potential under this regime than they do under previous regimes. But potential is one half of the triangle, if you like. You've got to put the work ethic in. You've got to put the work in to turn that potential into real production.
Yeah.
Just noticing that message on screen there about when will Gonzalez return. He might be back this week, but if he's not back this week, I expect him to be back week 3 for the Steelers.
He did put a post up. I don't know how real that is or what, but apparently he put a post up on his Instagram saying, get back. We're back, or whatever it was called.
And it might be related to the fact why we've cut DJ James today, but hopefully he's back, because it then gives you the ability to, you look at the matchup for this weekend in particular, you can double Tyreek Hill and you can put Gonzalez on Jalen Waddle, and then they've got not a lot else, really, have they? So, Achan's a very good back, but you might be able to stack the box with him. They don't really have much at receiver other than the top 2, which is still 2 very good receivers. But Gonzo being back gives us a huge leg up in that matchup. And as we said, their cornerbacks are, Jack Jones and some duck bloke So
I think he's injured as well. I think the duck clipped his wings.
yeah, and
Wow.
they claimed Cole Strange on waivers today. I tell you what, it's nice to know. I put it in the chat of the weekend, having watched the Miami game. It's nice to know we don't have the worst offensive line in the league anymore, because boy, that Miami offensive line looked atrocious. And I know the Colts have a good pass rush, but my God, Tua was being swarmed like seagulls hunting chips. Like, that was really bad.
Yeah, this is the game we penciled down as a loss to the Dolphins after
It is,
what
yeah.
after what the Colts did to them. I've got a slight little bit more optimism about it. The problem is though, it's not in Foxborough. It's down in Miami, and we all know when the Patriots go down in Miami, it never turns out the way it should do. It's one of our worst places to go. One of our worst places to go.
But
And Tua is undefeated against us.
Yeah, so there's definitely that aspect as well. Like, we've struggled, we haven't beaten Tua before, and we struggle in Miami. But I guess if we come out of this with a win, most Patriots fans probably predicted us to beat the Raiders week 1 and lose to Miami week 2. So if we come out of that situation 1-1 anyway, then with the results just flipped, then we're back to exactly where we thought we would be. So, we talked about the first month of the season. I was quite optimistic and had us at 3-1. I think a lot of people were probably more 2-2. If we come out of the first month of the season at 2-2, I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. But yeah, this now has become a must-win game, because we can't start 0-2 and go into Pittsburgh and be like, oh shit, we really need a win here. This Miami team is in the worst shape it's been in for a long time, and we've got to take advantage of that.
Definitely. I'm waiting to hear back on someone as a guest appearance for a preview show we got coming up in either Thursday or Friday. So I think we'll leave it there, guys. I think we've broken this game down pretty well regarding the Raiders game. Final thoughts, Nick.
The only way is up, baby.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think we've got to understand where we were starting from. There was a lot of giddiness, and fair enough. There was a lot of giddiness to the start of the season. Mike's back, and how many times have we talked about? You watch Forged in Foxborough, and you think, yeah, I want to run through a wall for that guy. I know it's episode 3's out now, but everyone was encouraged. You looked in the crowd on Sunday. Everyone was up for it. Everyone had belief. We were coming off an absolute terrible season, and I just think everybody was on too much of a high. And let's walk before you can run, sort of thing. Let's not get too carried away. We are a better team than we were last year, regardless of the result this weekend. And let's just small steps. Let's keep working towards the bigger goal, and we will get there.
DJ?
Yeah, I turn the page, move on. What's happened, learn from it. Let's see if we can improve, in all 3 phases, and it's 60 minutes of the game. So if we can pull out a win, I think we'll be back on the sheet, and onto Miami.
Kieran?
Yeah, I think there's no doubt that we will improve as time goes on, and maybe we're going to have to be a little bit patient. But ultimately, we're in a phase of these first 4 games where these are the more winnable games, and we're going to face, because we do go through a gauntlet. As much as we have an easy schedule overall, there are some tough runs in them. So we need to improve before we play the first real good team, and that'll be Buffalo in week 5. But I am confident we will turn it around. My biggest thing will probably be, I hope the coaching staff realize at some point that if they have a better player in reserve, than to just play them. So if Travion Henderson is better than Ramondre Stevenson, put him on the field. If Mac Hollins isn't as good as Kyle Williams, then you play Kyle Williams. Like, if these players give us a better chance to win, regardless of their experience, because they're explosive, they're fast, and they can make plays, then get them on the field. There's no point in persisting with, if Ramondre Stevenson is struggling and looks slow and Mac Hollins isn't creating anything down the field, then don't play them. Play the better guys. Like, that's what I want to see. Just give us a spark.
Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. My final thoughts is, it's the Raiders. Let them have this win. We move on. We got Miami on Sunday, which apparently is on Channel 5 at 6.
It's
So
Is it?
nice. We get
Nice.
to actually watch the full. I will watch the full game in its entirety this time round.
Did anyone watch the
Fine.
Channel 5 thing? Is it any decent, or what was the crap? I didn't watch it.
I've got no
It's
idea.
like it's like Soccer AM.
Oh,
It's basically like an American football version of Soccer AM
nice.
with the game on at the same time. So they had New York Giants fans there, and they played some games and what have
Washington,
you. The
wasn't it?
game was on. You know, OC and Dermot O'Leary and Sam were sat on the sofa and what have you. So it was like, the best I can liken it to is it's like that Soccer AM sort of feel. You know, when you had Tim Lovejoy and Helen Chamberlain on the sofa.
Before it passed
and the
its sell
fun-
by date and died of death.
Before it passed itself,
Yeah.
when it was good.
Yeah, but they got away with a lot.
yeah.
They got away with a lot of. They got away with a lot of stuff there, which you couldn't do it. You'd be
Hey, I'm
cancelled
not going to get
immediately.
in. I didn't plan on getting into this.
This
but
is a
when
family
people-
show.
and
We're not going to do this.
No, I know that, but people go on, and I'm not digging Alex Scott here, but people go on about how Alex Scott is the first woman to, front football and everything else, and that shows so much. Sorry, Helen Chamberlain was fronting football when it was a man's game, and I'm sorry, Alex Scott, you're second in line because Helen Chamberlain ruled that roost before you did. Anyway, never mind. So it's more like Soccer AM. That's the best thing I can liken it to.
Okay. All right. Well, we got all that to look forward to 6 o'clock.
I won't
Hopefully
see
we'll
it though because I'm at the Manchester Derby.
Oh, no one cares. Right, we've got. we'll have our preview. We'll have our preview show over on Thursday or Friday. Hopefully, our guest of honor will come back to us in time. We'll just go quickly around the horn. Kieran, obviously, you're usually my co-host for the preview, so hopefully you'll see you there. DJ Nick, we'll just have a quick run around on the score prediction. Miami, New England. Nick, what you doing? What you going for?
I went this week. This week I went 2017 Raiders, and I was close. I think I'm going to go the other way now. I'm going to go 2017 Patriots.
Oh, okay. DJ?
I'm going to go 21-10 Patriots.
DJ's going for a win. Wow. Okay. Kieran, we'll get your prediction when we do our preview show. Okay. And same with me as well. Right. We're
Sean
going out.
Payton's going to have another 100-yard game.
Yes, he will. He will. He will. And that is why I named my fantasy team Kiss Ma Booty. And on that note, we're out of here. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out. Gronk spike the subscribe button. Tell all your friends. Follow us on our social media platforms. Follow the podcast on Spotify and on Apple as well. And our next show will be either probably Thursday or Friday regarding of the preview against the Dolphins. And then we'll be for our review show on the following Tuesday. So make sure you check us out for that. Make sure you check us out on our Instagram posts and everything else. We're going out of here. Thank you to Nick. Thank you to Kieran. Thank you to DJ. We're going out of it. We're going out of here. And the Raiders. Jesus Christ. See you later, guys.